Hello, everyone. It's me again. Okay, I'm still trying to figure out all the angles and stuff. Hi, I'm Anna Tai. I'm the author of the book Eat to Focus. I'm also the owner or admin of the Eat to Focus, I think Natural Alternative ADHD Treatment Group. So I'm doing this live every Saturday on both Facebook page and also the Eat to Focus Instagram. So you notice that I kind of go back and forth. Hi, there are people coming here. So today I'm going to do something different. So every week before this live, I really have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but I kind of think of what some question that people talk a lot about. So this morning when I went on the Facebook page and I saw a bunch of questions, I decided that today I'm going to go over some of the questions that I saw on the inside the Facebook group. I'm not going to mention any name, but I think this will be really helpful for a lot of people because I think um, a lot of these questions that you guys post inside the Facebook group is very relevant for other people as well. So, but in the future, send me questions, email me, text me, DM me, put comments in the post or wherever, and and then we'll go from there. Maybe in the future I might have guest speaker. I'm still thinking about that. But anyway, so let's see. Just hold on one second. I'm kind of like looking at what I have here. So, okay. So this one question is, how do you know how much omega-3 is good for a 10-year-old and also myself? So I guess myself means the adult and the parents. So, okay, omega-3 fatty acid is actually one of the supplements that, or actually the first supplement that I always recommend for all of my patients with ADHD. And the reason why is because it is one of the most studied ingredients or supplements for ADHD and also for brain health. If you read my post before or read my book, I did talk about one of the causes of ADHD is that the brain is behind and smaller. So one of the goal of Eat to Focus or trying to the nutritional approach to help with ADHD is really to promote brain growth. So about 10% of our brain or children's brain as well is omega-3 fatty acid. So basically, the best source of omega-3 fatty acid is fish oil. So that's the reason why a lot of times people get confused like, oh, fish oil, omega-3 acid, because they're almost the same because fish oil is one of the best source of omega-3 fatty acid. But if you're allergic to fish or doesn't like it, other omega-3 fatty acid source will be from plants like flaxseed and there's another plant, but I'll remember it later. But flaxseed is another very good source of omega-3 fatty acid. The only difference between the two is the active and non-active form. So like with the omega-3 fatty acid coming from the flaxseed is the inactive form, which means that there's one more step that the body have to work on, converting that inactive form into the active form that the body actually needs to. And there are a few studies that actually shows that kids with ADHD, especially boys, tend to have a slower conversion of the inactive to the active form of omega-3 fatty acids. So that's why I always recommend the fish oil instead of the flaxseed or flaxseed oil. Okay, so that's kind of the some of the reason behind that. So then the other thing is how do we choose that, right? So there are many different fish oil version out there in the market. You can get the liquid ones, like the oil version, or the tablets and the gummies. So first of all, gummies are garbage. I never recommend anyone take fish oil gummies. And the reason why is after I show you, actually, I don't even have a sample of that. A lot of times with the gummy omega-3 fatty acid supplement, you'll have to take so many gummies. There's some brands like Smarty Pants. I never recommend that brand. Like you'll say, oh yeah, I have DHA in it, but the amount is so little. In sometimes you might have to take 15 to 20 gummies to get the amount that I recommend. So just be more educated and stay on the post here and hang out with me in my group and I'll teach you everything. Okay, so with the with the omega-3 fatty acid, there are mainly two that we're talking about. There are other ones, but the two that we're more concerned about is the DHA and EPA. Okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce those names because I don't want to embarrass myself here. Okay, so it's the DHA and EPA. So with the ADHD, actually the ones that we want to focus on is the DHA, which is the dexahexanoic acid. I think I missed out one syllable, but anyway. Okay, this is the brand that I recommend. It's the Carson. And on my website, I think I might have recommended a few other brands as well. Those are just as good. I think it's the Wiley Finest. That's the other brand that I recommend. So I'm going to use this as an example to teach you how to look up what you need. Okay, so this is the Carson's one. I like this one because it's lemon flavor. I used to put it in my oatmeal or my yogurt or some other stuff um, because it's a liquid, and I think in the bottle it says to take like half a teaspoon. 1 teaspoon is a serving. So according to the pulmonologist, pediatric pulmonologist that I work with, she said never ever drink oil by itself. So I listen to her. So I don't tell my patients to drink it. So always mix it in something before you take it. That's the best way to do it. And the reason why she recommends that not to drink any oil because oil can be easily swallowed in the wrong place and cause pneumonia or choking. Anyway, if you can see it, a few things you need to look at is the serving size, which is 1 teaspoon. So it's the little spoon. And in that 1 teaspoon, oops, sorry, I need to show it to you here. In the 1 teaspoon, let's see, EPA, DHA. Okay, so this size, so the EPA is 800 milligrams. Okay, so in 1 teaspoon, there's 800 milligrams of EPA and 500 milligrams of DHA, and over here as well. So you see that. So this is only one in 1 teaspoon. DHA and EPA is 800 and 500. So this is the reason why I like this product is because it all you need is just 1 teaspoon, which is not a lot to take. You can, like I said, you can mix it in something and drink it or eat your yogurt with it. And 500 milligrams and 500 milligrams of the DHA and 800 milligrams of the EPA is like perfect amount. Because my recommendation is based on a minimum of 500 milligrams of DHA. So if you find a product that provides that 500, like that 500 milligrams of DHA in 1 teaspoon, that's perfect. And the other product that I mentioned earlier, the Wiley's Finest, I think that is even more concentrated. I think with that product is half a teaspoon and you get about 500 milligrams of DHA. So if any one of you who's giving your kids the Smarty Pants, um, the one that says it has DHA, do um, you can look at the bottle and see how much, like you do the same thing. You look at the serving size and then look at how much DHA or EPA is in it. And I believe the last time that I looked at a bottle of Smarty Pants, I think or I think servings is usually 2 gummies, and there might be like 20 or 30 milligrams of DHA. So that's definitely not enough. And but I'll talk about that another time. If this thing is still not quite your thing, like the liquid oil supplements not quite your thing, the other gummies that I would recommend, like I said earlier, like any of the gummies DHA, I would not recommend at all. The other one that potentially could be used is the Norwegian, or no, the Nordic fishes. Um, I actually really love the Nordic brand. They're a bit expensive, but the gummy just tastes so good. That's why I stopped buying them because I will find myself eating the whole bottles of gummy vitamins because they taste so good. They don't taste like vitamins at all. But but if you're looking for a gummy omega-3 fatty acid, the Nordic fishies will be the best. They're actually the little um, red fishies, kind of like the red fishies gummy, but not you're not getting the gummy candy ones. These are the Nordic fishies, and I think it's 2.5 fish gummies will give you about close to 500 milligrams of DHA. I don't quite exactly remember, but yeah, I'll probably have to get a couple bottles of that when I can eat the gummies. Like I said, Nordics have really good tasting gummies. Okay, let's see. Anything else about omega-3 fatty acid? Oh, so the I think the question also mentioned about like omega-3 fatty acid for the kids and the adults. So the recommendation of the dosage is about the same. Um, the recommendations more from my own recommendations based on studies that I've read. Most of the other place, because technically there are no government guidelines or anything recommendation for any omega-3 fatty acids. So all of those are based on research. And if you look at very general health guidelines, the recommendation for DHA is a lot lower, like something less than 100 milligrams. But for the treatment or to help with ADHD symptoms, the studies, most of the studies are around 500 and some are even higher. So that's what it is. Oh, and I want to mention something about supplements. So we all heard about the phrase food as medicine. So which is true. Food at a lower level is more like food, but when it's at a higher level, higher than what you normally can get from eating food alone, becomes more like a medicine because it can actually treat a condition and correct any deficiency. So you probably heard a lot of people often talk about like, oh, why do you need supplement? Why can't you just get it from food? That's more natural. Yeah, that's true if you're healthy and have no deficiency. Supplements supplements fill the gap between what your body needs and what you're getting from the food you eat. But when you have a deficiency, you need to have a supplement to help fill it up. Because if you have a deficiency, you basically have an empty bucket in whatever nutrients that you're missing. So imagine trying to fill up a big bucket with a dropper. Like you're just doing 2 drops at a time. That's what it means by getting from the food. On the other hand, when you have an empty bucket that needs to be filled up soon, a supplement that has a higher concentration of the nutrients that you need will help fill that bucket back up to normal and you can start functioning normally a lot quicker. That's the reason why we take iron supplement, but we don't want to take too much, only if you're deficient. Okay, let's go to our next question. And if you have any comment or any of the question, put it under the comments. I might or might not be able to see it because I'm still trying to figure out how this whole thing works. So bear with me in the future. Okay, I'll save this one for later because it's more about behavior. If I have time, I'll touch on that. Okay, this one is interesting. So I've started giving my son magnesium, a B complex, and fish oils. Some days he's okay, and then other days he's not. Is that normal? And when will the progress be consistent? Okay, so this is a very interesting one because so this person obviously did everything correct, right? Actually, just the supplement part, giving like what magnesium, B complex, and fish oil. Okay, so those are all the vitamins that I'll recommend for someone starting out for helping with ADHD. Excuse me. So, but then why is the child like, let's see, some days are okay and some days are not? So before I answer this question, a few things that I will try to find out is what do you mean by some days he's okay and what do you mean by some days not, right? Because I think a lot of our perception of our children's problem is more like a subjective thing. Like, okay as in he's not throwing tantrum or he's focusing. So it's like expectations as well. I think like I've read a lot of your posts in the Facebook group. Like I have this group been going on forever. So I read a lot of your posts and I also work with parents every day. So I have like I've heard everything that parents have concern about. But after so many years working with like parents with picky eaters, ADHD, and like all these other medical issue, what I saw in a common thread is our expectations as parents. Like I've seen so many kids who are falsely labeled as picky is because parents have a different expectations of how children should be eating. So their expectations is that children is supposed to eat whatever that is put in front of them, right? But we have to remember as a toddler, we just don't understand food. We just play with food just like anything else. So some of it is expectation. So before I can answer this question, is I would like try to find out what you mean by some days okay, some days not. Because these are definitely like good vitamins to start with. And then the other thing is have you work on the diet? Have you work on behavioral things as well? Like when it's not okay, when the day that he or she is not okay, did something happen in the school? Did he eat before? Did he eat on time? Is he eating the right kind of food without any triggers? So like I think a lot of times parents, or not just parents, but us in general, like human, I think we're so conditioned to like if we do something, we expect the results. But if we don't see results, this thing doesn't work, right? So I think that's probably a lot of people kind of give up on natural alternative ADHD therapy completely because they tried something and it didn't work. But the thing is, you need to be consistent. One of the things that you really need to understand that is when you're not using ADHD medication to treat ADHD, the process is slow. You might not see immediate results. Like ADHD medication, you give the kid the medication in the morning, he's calm in a few hours in school, at school to be able to focus. But if you're doing just supplements, you might not see the change right away. So like even in this post that these people say, this person said, oh yeah, I started magnesium and then the B complex and the fish oil. Then my other question is how much were you giving? How much magnesium are you giving? How much B complex and how much fish oil you're giving? What kind of food is your child eating? Are you making any diet change? And also, is your child having adequate amount of like activities outside, right? Like or is your child have any other issue as well, like tantrums, being fed well? Because you know, if we miss a meal, like me, I know in the afternoon, I tend to get hungry, and my what you call that? My patience and my niceness kind of went away in the afternoon. Like I turned into a different human. So, like looking at those kind of things and also understanding your child too, right? Like you probably know that, oh yeah, this is usually his nap time and he skip his nap or something like that. So those are other questions to look into. And then I also mentioned very beginning is expectations, right? Like, let's see, yeah, this person didn't mention how old that child is. So children, just like adult, we just don't always have good days every day. Like yesterday I was fine, right? But the day before when I wake up for whatever reason, I just don't feel good at all. And I'm just so anxious and like just so irritated. So even me as an adult have good days and bad days. So you kind of have to understand that even though you might be doing everything right, you're still not gonna have perfect days every day. And that's just part of life. And the other thing that I think I want to touch on a little bit is about parenting is okay, I lost that. Um about okay, now it's completely lost. Um oh yeah. Okay, parenting. What I see a lot in working with parents every day is that we we just want to protect our children so much. Like we want to do everything for them. We want to protect them from feeling hurt, feeling sad. But what you really is doing is you're taking opportunity away from your child to let them learn to be a human being, to learn to regulate their emotions. So I saw a lot of posts in here talking about meltdown and things like that. And like I also hear a lot of parents like actually this is a very complicated case that we're working with like the last month or so. The child is perfectly fine. Who's not fine is mom and dad. They have problem with letting the child cry a little bit and things like that. And I have to explain to them, they're like, oh, but she's crying. I can't let her cry. So and then I try to hug her, she won't let me. So I have to explain to them that, maybe sometimes not everyone who's crying needs to be consoled and told to stop. Because I told mom, like, haven't you ever fight with your husband and you get to a point that I'm just so upset, don't talk to me, right? You just want to have that quiet time. So adults, I think sometimes don't understand that children might also have need that kind of quietness and just be left alone and let them learn to deal with that emotions. So for some parents, it's like seeing the kids cry is unbearable, but that is unbearable because of their own emotions, their own insecurities. So, but um, but you letting your child cry a little bit, like especially when you want to give them a hug and console them, and they just push you away, just let them cry it out because if they don't want anything, maybe all they need is just a good cry and you just been sitting next to them and just making sure that they're safe because the the worst thing is you just leave them in the room and let them cry and then don't know what happens, something happens to them. You just need to let them know you're there. Okay. Sometimes your child crying doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. That's a total different topic. I'll save it for another time. Okay, another question here. Anyone have any experience with a child suffering from an untreated wheat allergy and ADHD? I'm working on finding out if there's any correlation between the two. I believe there is in my son's case. I think sons as in one son, that's supposed to be an apostrophe S. After reading the book Healthier Without Wheat, but I'm looking for some more resources and advice, especially some real world personal experiences. Okay, that's a very good question. So, um, in my book, I also mentioned another possible potential very common cause of ADHD is hidden food sensitivity. And I don't use the word allergy because I found that the allergy is not a very appropriate word all the time, but it's more of a sensitivity. So she's talking about wheat um, sensitivity to wheat, which is a type of grains. And in wheat, part of the wheat protein is, or the protein in wheat is actually gluten. Gluten is one of the many, many different kind of protein in wheat. So um, where did I start? Okay, so there is, to answer your question here, is yes, there's a very, very strong correlation between gluten allergy or sensitivity. Okay, here I'm using allergy and I'll explain why. Hi. Um, so there's a strong correlation between gluten allergy, sensitivity, or intolerance with ADHD. There's a study, or actually not just one. There are multiple studies that shows very strong correlation between wheat and gluten. And I'm going to use the wheat and gluten very interchangeably because they're very closely related. I'm not going to talk about the difference here, but I would say they're pretty much the same thing. If you're going to avoid gluten, you're basically avoiding wheat as well. Okay, there's this one study that shows that it was a huge study. I can't remember all the numbers. If you have my book, you can go in and look at it. I have a whole chapter on that. Okay, so what the gluten sensitive, okay, not gluten. So this studies actually look at kids and adults with ADHD, and what they found is they found that within people adult and kids who have ADHD, 15, 1, 2, 3. So 15% of people or kids, adult with ADHD have celiac disease. And celiac disease is actually an autoimmune disorder where your body actually is, I would say, allergic to gluten and is attacking its own intestine, causing a lot of issues and things like that. So that's that one study. So 15% in people with ADHD compared to the general population. So the general population meaning that everybody else, only 1%. So we're talking 1% and 15% difference here. So that's one study. And then there are a couple more other studies. Oh, so that's just part of the study. So that's what they found. What they also found is that when these people have ADHD go on a gluten-free diet, they saw significant improvement in ADHD symptoms. So, and I think they saw the most improvement at about 6 months. So that means that it do takes that long for you to avoid some food to see significant improvement. So if you just started on like a diet, like a week or two, or even a couple of days, you might not see anything. Some people see significant improvement right away. I have patients who have that. Um, and then there are a few more other studies that did not look at celiac, but they only look at gluten intolerance. So someone who's intolerant to gluten. So when I say intolerance, that means that there's no allergic reaction trigger. It's just that it irritates the body senses the gluten in there. It causes irritation or pain. So it's nothing to do with allergies. So allergy testing will not find anything. Um, so in these other studies, I think they're Italian studies. So they also see more gluten sensitivity in people who have ADHD, and then when they put them on a gluten-free diet, they also see significant improvement in the ADHD symptoms in pretty much everyone, except a few people who dropped out. Okay, so I think that's how I would answer that question. And with the wheat, oh, okay, she mentioned about something of personal experience. So with the wheat intolerance, so with a lot of the food sensitivity that we see in ADHD, a lot of them is not food allergy. So don't try push your doctor or order food, um, order any blood test or anything. You just sending your kids to a scary experience. And the reason why is, like I said, these are more sensitivity or intolerance that does not trigger an allergic reaction. So the blood test and the skin test would not show unless it is like a contact dermatitis where the food actually irritates the skin. So, and besides the food allergy test, the blood test have a specific set of food, the most common food allergy that is tested. So if your child is allergic to a food that is not in the testing list, it's going to come back negative because they're not testing that. Also, a lot of kids and adults who might have a hidden, I always call it hidden food sensitivity, is they might not be even allergic to the food. They might be sensitive to the food ingredients or the colorings or something in that. And I do have a really good story about that. And I think it's about last month or around Christmas, I got a referral for, I think, 16, 18 months child. So basically, is the backstory is the family, the mom and the dad took the kid to the doctor. They just keep going to the doctor all the time because the kid just won't sleep at night. Every night he just wakes up in so much pain. Like every 2, 3 hours he's up. Parents like they just don't know what to do with him. They thought maybe food reaction because after eating certain food he does break out in hives around his face, sometimes his whole face. So they were suspecting food allergy. So they took him to the doctor, and the doctor did all the tests, right? Thinking, oh yeah, it's probably allergy. So they used to test him for everything. And then all the allergy tests all came back negative. So they're like at a loss. And the doctor I think gave the child like those standard stomach medicine, thinking that oh yeah, just take these, it might help. But It didn't help at all. So after so many times, the doctor kind of given up because he's like, the family keep calling her and emailing and nothing works. And the doctor at some point just tell the parents, I don't know what's wrong. It's not allergies, probably in your head. And like the doctor pretty much lectured the parents, like, you guys are wasting resources. Stop taking the kids here. Nothing's wrong with the child. And the parents are pissed off. But anyway, so the doctor sent this family to me, thinking that, oh, it might be a food thing. You like That's what usually happens with the doctors when they can't figure out what's wrong with the kid or whoever. They just send them to another specialist. So, so I read all the history, talked to your mom and everything. Both mom and dad. The dad is really good. He always come with the mom, so they all on the same page in the and telling the same story. So I get a very good history. So I read all the medical records from the doctor, and then I get a very good history of, well, what all the kids eat, and I also get a history of the parents and the family history of allergy. That's what something the doctor didn't do, is getting a history from the parents. So came to find out that side of the family have a lot of food additive or food chemical sensitivity. Dad is allergic to a few chemicals. I can't remember what it is, but he mentioned one that stick out most is food coloring is one. That's a big one in his family. Another one is cinnamon, and then he's sensitive to some other stuff in food. So I was like, okay, so that's kind of my next clue, right? So there's a significant family history of sensitivity to things that are added to food. So let's look at that. So I have parents start writing a log. So I send the parents home and say, okay, write down everything that he eats from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to bed. Write down whatever he eats. If you have the brain, write that down too. And I want you to rate his reaction. Like the facial rash, you rate it from a 0 to a 10. 10 being super severe, and 0 means nothing, flat, perfect skin. And then how many times he wakes up at night. Have them um, record all of that. So a week later, they came back for follow up. So with that recording, we're able to identify a few food that he's sensitive to, and then um, a few other things. So definitely he's sensitive to a lot of the processed foods. So I was like, okay, we're gonna remove all processed food. Mom needs to learn to cook and start making things from scratch. And we remove the things that we find out is causing like severe reaction in the skin. So we did that, and I also gave them a hypoallergenic formula because he wasn't eating too much. So I gave them that to replace the milk that he cannot have. So a few weeks later, the parents email me back and say, "Oh my God, all the skin rash is like almost gone. The only time it came back is he accidentally ate something that he's not supposed to." And we also found 4 restaurants that he can eat at without reaction. So I was like, oh, great, it's working. So yeah, that's something that we need to think about is it's not all about the food, but the process with what's in the food that we eat and what's in the food that we think it is good, right? Because we see all these like um, commercials and people telling me or telling us, oh yeah, this is good for you, but it comes out from a box and a package. How good is that, right? And then I think the next question will kind of like talk about some of that as well. And then yeah, so that's kind of my story. Let me see what's the next question. Oh, here. How much time? Okay, we're still good on time. A2 raw organic milk is the healthiest and best for ADHD. Pasteurized is what kills enzymes and nutrients. Okay, that's bullshit. Um, yeah. So, um, someone mentioning something like that, you can tell that they don't have a very good understanding about um, the ADHD and this whole thing, and generally just randomly putting things like that. I don't think that it is very helpful for anyone. It's just make it very confusing, because like a lot of the recommendation Like every day I have to remind parents and also adult for themselves is you need to be very careful about reading general recommendations outside, like about eating low fat, eating low salt, and things like that. I have so many stories to tell you if you want, but save that for another day. I've seen so many kids and babies for failure to thrive because parents think that it is good idea to give the kids, the young kids, low fat food and low salt food. So kids need salt and kids need fats, even adults do. So when you give a kid a restricted diet missing just one mineral, that can be detrimental. So when someone say that the raw milk is better, um, I don't agree with that at all. First of all, I don't even agree that humans should be drinking milk all the time, and the amount that we recommend to drink every day, like 2, 3 cups a day, that's way too much. Like, I have nothing against eating milk or drinking it, but when you do it to such a huge amount of your diet, it becomes a problem. Like, it's totally fine if you like to put some Parmesan cheese on your pasta or on other dish on your salad. That's totally fine. I'm fine with like using cheese or some milk and yogurt as more of a seasoning or part of the milk. But if you're chugging down 2, 3 cups of milk a day, or plus you're eating a lot of cheese and dairy all day long, that becomes an issue. And the issue is that people often think that milk is like, oh wow, milk is so good. I need it because I need it for bone health and it's good source of calcium and it helps children grow. It it doesn't, because just think of what where milk comes from and the purpose of it, right? So cow's milk comes from a cow that is made for the baby cow. So the really the reason why milk is a good food is a good food for baby cows. And baby cows grow from a baby to full size grown up size in 2 years. For human, that takes about 18, 20 years, right? So if you think about how fast the baby cow grow, like to full size in 2 years, just think how powerful that growth hormone is in the cow's milk. And then we want to feed that to our kids, right? Just doesn't make sense. The other thing too is also thinking how cow's milk are produced nowadays. Maybe like 100 years ago, where the cows are roaming on the grass, open meadow, munching on grass would be fine. But that's the idea that milk manufacturer wants us to think, right? Like the cows that produce our milk are like happy cows walking on grass every day, chilling, munching on grass. But that's really is not the case. Reality is these cows are stuck in tight spaces and being fed things that they're not meant to eat. They're fed, I think, either soy or corn, the most genetically modified grains in the world. So they're feeding things that doesn't even match the genetic makeup or match the digestion. And then they're forced to get pregnant every year so they can make more milk. So you know when you're pregnant, you have more pregnancy hormones, right? So when the cow is constantly always pregnant, so there's the natural growth hormone that is in the cow's milk. Then on top of that, you have all that extra cow pregnant hormone, which I don't even know what it is. So then when we're looking at our overall health, I work with a lot of adults and women with weight issue as well. There's so much hormonal imbalance in all of us that if you think about it, if your hormone level is already off, then you add something in that have even more hormone from a foreign source, from a different species, even though it's from a different species, it's still gonna have some kind of impact on your body. So that's like definitely one reason that I would avoid cow's milk for that reason, and then other reason as well. Like cows living so close together, which means that if one cow gets sick, the other ones around them get sick. So that means that there's more risk of infection and more use of antibiotics in those cows as well. So that's one reason definitely a big reason for me to not drinking cow's milk. And also, going back to the previous topic about food sensitivity, so a lot of kids do have sensitivity to cow's milk. Is one of the things that is very common, a very common sensitivity. And also, cow's milk protein, when not digested properly, can create something called casomorphin, which acts very similar to the drugs morphine or opioids and attached to that dopamine receptor center, triggering some crazy reaction and addictive behavior. So that's another reason to avoid milk as well. So, okay, and then let's see what's the other question. Yeah, and like I said, if you have comments and things, you can put it at the bottom. Okay, this one I just want to read out because it's like a happy post, and it also validates what I believe this whole time because I've never seen anyone who changed the diet and not see any improvement. So this is from inside the Facebook group. So we changed our son's diet and started supplementing almost 1 year ago. I'm writing with an update to say how amazingly well he's doing. He went from average attainment grades C with some D's and average attitude grades 3 out of 5 to A student in lots of subjects. Wow, that's amazing. With effort grades of ones and twos. So that's awesome. So, to anyone who has just started a journey or who is wondering whether to go through the upheaval of diet changes and costs for testing, I would wholeheartedly recommend it. Good luck. Thank you so much. Thank you for this is like things that we should be posting more about to show people that there is possibilities. Okay. I think I might have enough time. Oh, okay. This one. This is another one. It's not really a question, but I just want to throw my 2 cents out there. It's really just 2 cents. So this is someone posted this garbage thing called, and the title says, "Meet the first FDA approved video game to treat kids' ADHD." And the reason why I said that this is garbage is because, hello, we try to get our kids off the screen, and then you create another video game to keep them on the screen longer. What your child really needs is your time, human attention, human interaction. That's what your kids needs, not another video game to get him or her addicted. So get that garbage out of it. Okay, next thing. Um, yeah, this is interesting. So, has anyone's kid gotten more active after taking magnesium calm? So that this doesn't seem to be working. Okay, magnesium is a very, very wonderful electrolytes or minerals. It does 300 over 300 different reaction or is involved in over 300 different chemical reaction in our body. So our body needs it. I have patients who told me before, oh, take a magnesium supplement and it makes me itch or something. I must be allergic to magnesium. I was like, no, that's impossible. If you're allergic to magnesium, you would have been dead because you cannot survive without magnesium. So whenever you take a magnesium supplement and something get worse, it's usually the whatever other stuff that they put into a supplement. So in this case, it's the calm. I think I might have recommended somewhere in my book or somewhere, but actually I don't really like calm that much because anything, any vitamins, supplements that you take that have a flavoring means that there's some artificial stuff added to it. So I try to look up the nutrition label on calm and see the ingredient list, but I think the one that they post on the on um, on Amazon, the label is incorrect because I'm looking at the gummies and I'm also looking at the powder drink. The ingredient lists are the same because there's no way that you make the gummy without any kind of other stuff to form the thing into a gummy. So this person who posed this question about a child getting more active with the magnesium probably needs to switch to magnesium that has nothing else in it. Your child probably is sensitive to some of the stuff that is added to it. And also, if you look at a lot of these supplements that sounds like they're super healthy, they always have something called natural flavorings. It's like just something for you to remember. Manufacturer knows what human wants. So whatever things that they want you to buy, they just put the word natural in the front of it. They probably will put the word natural in front of cyanide and people will buy it too. But just remember, not everything that is natural is good for you. Just like I just mentioned, cyanide is poisonous, but it's natural. Snake venom is poisonous, but it's also natural, right? So, and poison ivy as well. So you need to be careful when you see the word natural. It doesn't mean it's good. It just means that it came from a source that is not contaminated. So it doesn't mean that it's good for a human body. Just be more educated and put more thoughts into it. So so the calm, because it's a drink and it has a good flavor, that means that there's probably some artificial sweeteners added to it. But I don't know. But like I said, when I try to look at the nutrition label, I think the label is incorrect. So I'll have to actually get a real bottle and look at it. So I think there are a few more questions and I still have time. Where they go? Okay. Oh, with the magnesium. So instead of using the calm, this is the one that I actually like. It's called Trace Mineral Drops. And here. So the reason that I like this is because there's nothing in there other than just minerals. So basically it's all pure. It's called Trace Minerals. I'll put the link. I'll put the link in all of this. And this is not only magnesium. So in half a teaspoon, so a serving is half a teaspoon, and you get 250, I believe, 200 milligrams of magnesium. You get some chloride, some sodium, potassium. You get some sulfate, some lithium, and boron. So you don't get just one item, but you get like a list of different other minerals in just one of these. And this is not something you just like pour on a spoon and chuck it down. You don't do that. I have patient who did that, but she's desperate. What I usually do is like I keep this next to my water and I have my cup of tea and I just do that. I just drink it like that. That's how I take mine. So every time I refill my cup of tea or water, I'll put some drops in it. So by the end of the day, I probably get at least half a teaspoon or a little bit more. And have, like I said, have nothing. It makes your tea, if you add too much, it just makes it taste a little bit more like the ocean. So, uh, but without the fishy taste. Okay, I think we still have time for. I still have more questions here, but we might have to save some for next time. Okay, so this one is kind of another happy post that someone shared. So we have had an entire week without meltdown, violent episode, or any bad behavior at all. Wonderful. So three things have changed. One, he's back at school, which he loves. Two, we've kept him on his ADHD friendly diet very strictly. And three, started magnesium. I'm amazed. Thank you so much for sharing that. We all need to hear like good news and seeing that the future is possible. Okay, another one, not this one. Oh, here. Um, I know a lot of people swear by diet change. Direct me, please. I need meals, snacks, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I think they mean ideas. No extra sugar, no dyes. Where's the best place to find healthy food like this? Okay, so I I wrote a cookbook actually, and I don't actually have it here. Maybe I'll try and look. Oh, here. So let me see if I have a cover of this. So um, to supplement the Eat to Focus book, the one that I wrote last year here. So I also actually created a cookbook along with it. So this cookbook is a collection of all the a lot of recipes that is based on the eat to focus principle, which is like no dairy, no gluten, no grains, beans, eggs, and all of those things. And the reason why is because um, in the Eat to Focus protocol, the first step of the diet is the elimination clean start diet. Basically, it's a healing diet in the very beginning to eliminate most of the food that is most common to cause reaction in kids and adults with ADHD. So we eliminate most of the trouble food, giving your body time to heal without constant insult. So once your body start to heal and you see improvement, then you can start reintroducing some of the food that is eliminated. So um, so that's something to remember because a lot of people's like, oh my God, the diet's so restrictive. Yeah, it is because it's a healing diet. It's just like you, if you have a surgery, like say you have dental surgery done, right? You don't wouldn't go out and just eat a piece of steak right away, but you don't complain, oh, I can't eat steak, right? But the elimination diet is the same. You avoid certain food so your body can heal up from the inside out. And the other thing also to remember is what people a lot of times notice is when they change the diet or start a new supplement, sometimes you might notice that some of the behavior actually get worse first, or you might have a skin rash that is worse first. That's usually signs that the body is reacting. So some of the things just takes time to get rid of. It's kind of like remodeling a home. When you remodel your house, things get so messy, like just so gross everywhere, right? But it takes time to rebuild stuff and it will get better. So if you're interested in that cookbook, I'll list all the link of all the things that I talked about today in the comment below on both places. And then I think there might be another question. Okay, here. Tell me your recommendation for high potency multivitamins, brands, and where to buy. We're using Smarty Pens for a while because we wanted the methylfolate and many multivitamins don't contain that form. But I'd like to try something better if there is one. Thanks. Yes, definitely there's another one that's better and I don't know if I can pull up this. So the ones that I recommend the most, like every day, I think I just closed that, is the Nature's Way Alive Multivitamin for Children. I'm going to pull this up and show you the picture. So this is the multivitamin that I recommend for all my kids. And the reason why is because it has a lot of good, ooh, let's see, there, better. So it is this. This is the multivitamins that I recommend for all of my kids' patients. And the reason why is because this actually have a lot of stuff in it. Like if you get a regular gummy vitamin, which I think is like garbage, because the gummy vitamin is more like a candy with a sprinkle of multivitamins. And most of the multivitamins or the vitamins that is added to the gummy is mostly B soluble vitamins. B vitamins or water soluble vitamins, which really like we don't we can get it from many other sources in a better amount. But with this alive chewable, which this person was asking for something that has methylfolate and the active form of the other stuff. If you look at this, you might or might not be able to see it, but this is all the list. So the reason why I like this particular multivitamin is because it not only have the water soluble vitamins, it have like the whole spectrum of the most common multivitamins, right? Like the vitamin A, C, D, E, I think K, that's K and B12. So the B12 and the folate, they're both in the methyl form. If you go to any drugstores and get the cheapest of the cheap multivitamins, they're usually in the cyano like the B12 is usually in the cyano form, which is useless. The folate, usually in the cheap drugstore version, they give you folic acid. Folic acid is garbage. Do not buy that. You want folate. The body uses folate, not folic acid. And in this one is um, the methyltetrafolate. That's the one that they use here. Tetrahydrofolate. Yeah. So this one, the specific version of the multivitamins that they use in this brand is actually better. And then the other stuff is not that much significant, but they have a bunch of like vegetables and fruit like powder up in it, so it's like a little bit extra boost. Um, like not a whole lot, but something extra that will help stimulate the gut bacteria. And then, oh, the other thing that I find very important, like when I'm looking for a multivitamin, is the calcium, iron, magnesium, and zinc. If you look at the Smarty Pants and most other multivitamins, they don't have any minerals in it, which bothers me a lot because when I'm thinking of a multivitamin, I'm thinking of like I want a lot of stuff in there. But most of the gummies only have vitamins in it, so they don't have minerals. So this one also have minerals like iron, zinc. What else did I say? Iron, zinc, and magnesium. The amount is not super a lot, but it's still good enough to have a little bit. Like yeah, even magnesium is not a whole lot, but the zinc is about 60% of the DRI, and then iron about 36%. Again, it's not the full dose, but that's assuming because you're gonna get some from the food that you eat. And again, the purpose of a multivitamin is not to replace the nutrients from the food that you eat, is to fill up the gap between what you get from the food you eat and what your body needs. That's the purpose of a multivitamin. So I think we're coming up close to the hour. So let me see. There's probably more questions, but um, I'm going I'm going to answer the other question next week. So yeah, if you have any, yeah, it looks like that's the last question. So, but I'm sure there's like a lot more question in the Facebook group because we have like over 10,000 members right there now. So it's a very, very active group. So for those of you who are on Instagram and you haven't joined the group yet, you should go switch over to your Facebook and then find the group. And the group's name, I think, is still, I still keep it as Natural Alternative ADHD Treatment. So if you look up that you should be able to find it. And it's a very active group. There's a lot of action going on, people posting, sharing stuff. And then I think this is good. Maybe next week I'll go ahead and answer your questions. So any question that you want me to answer, go ahead and put it in the comment here, or you can post that question in the Facebook group, or you can DM me to people DM me as well. So yeah. All right. So I guess that's it. And you all have a very good, wonderful Saturday wherever you are in the world. And I'll talk to you again next week. Okay? Bye. Have a wonderful Saturday.